Hello everybody and welcome back to Spellweaver. So. Last week I was trying to build a deck and we got like screwed by some server downtime. Regardless, I said that I will try to fiddle with the deck, fix the deck, and show you what I came. There it is, decks. Show you what I came up with. So, yep, this is the deck, which I have cleverly named Dark Souls. I mean, when it comes to the name, I kind of went like, it seems to be a fad in the community to like name your decks in a fashion of like a color and whatever you will have in the deck. So you will have something like blue soldiers, for example, or like red aggro or whatever. Basically, following the pattern of the color and something. So I figured out that this is like the worst pun I could fit in a deck. That actually, yeah, is somewhat black, somewhat purple. So, what cards do we have here? Why those cards? And why in such an amounts? And what I think about this deck overall? I mean, I played with this deck a little bit. Nowhere near as much as I would like to play with it. Although it's not severely like underplayed. So, first of all, the hero, and to be honest, the hero was probably one of the most difficult choices here. I ended up taking Nepharos, the basic one, not the upgraded one. I don't even... Do I even have upgraded Nepharos? Oh, I don't even have upgraded Nepharos. Regardless, I wasn't even considering upgraded Nepharos. So yeah, for the hero, I wasn't entirely sure if I want to go with him. But it's like I am going with Corruption, regardless, because for the Enchained Soul deck you have to go for Corruption. So starting with a Corruption hero, yeah, it's decent. As I wasn't 100% sure what aspects I would like to see on this deck, and to be honest, I'm not 100% convinced about this. About these aspects, about going purple and black, but I will talk about it in a second. Actually, yeah, it's like I'm having so much thoughts about this deck. What is good? What is wrong about it? So yeah, basically I took Nepharos for the sake of taking something. I figured out if I'm going with Corruption anyway, if I want to take Tombs of the Damned, and this is like a good card to just grind creatures, so Tombs of the Damned really helps. Yeah, but Tombs of the Damned give me the weak. I mean, not well. They are weak, but most importantly, slow zombies. Also, I have taken like a couple of zombie giants as sort of a way to get some more or less late game attack power in case it would be necessary. And those are again slow. All in all, aside from the tombs and the zombie giants, I don't really have that much of a slow creatures. Well, I also have Moon Priests, but it won't be attacking, so... the thing is, I kind of stuck to Nepharos even after the changes, because earlier on, I think it might have even been stuck in the video. I don't remember how much of the build was recorded and when it got wrecked. But I thought about taking some of the zombie legionnaires, standalone zombie legionnaires, And you know, with cards like this, getting a cheap skill that I will be able to use it regardless because I am taking the black, the corruption aspect anyway. So yeah, it would work. If I don't need it, I don't have to use it. If I do need it, I can use it, and I forgot to switch off Steam. Now that should be better. Yeah, by the way, if anyone is curious about the language thing, it has fixed itself. I have no idea how, I have no idea when. I mean, like, yeah, one day it's in Polish, the next day I launch it and it's back to English. I'm like, yeah, ever. I mean, I not like that. I mean, after I had the issue where I had deleted the files and I was playing with deleted files, then what I did, I used these Steam's options like the check file integrity. So of course it found errors, so it had to re-download the files, and I launched the game. It was again in Polish, so I had to play for 1 or 2 days in Polish, and then it switched to English again. So I don't care. I mean, as long as it's in English, I don't care. So, yeah, just if anyone is curious, no, I did not switch to the, and of course it's gonna shoot me the event notifications, because fuck me, that's why. Never mind. And Crystal Fiesta is starting soon. Awesome. I don't think I have enough crystals to qualify. Which one is this? This one? Entry fee, 225 crystals, not enough. So, yeah. So I stuck with Nepharos, although I have gotten rid of most of the 1-speed creatures. Instead of that, I went heavy on Spoiled Aristocrats, and I took some Shadow Step Assassins and a bunch of Silverblade Warriors, and I figured out that, like, these 3 will be like the core of the army, like pre-Enchained Souls, basically. So, well, I figured out that Xera is insanely expensive, requires insane amount of levels. I mean, to grind to her, you would need to spend at least 8 turns before you will be able to play that thing. And you know, in 8 turns you can get easily wrecked. I mean, you might have noticed I had Zash selected. What is this deck? It's like another deck I've just built. And it was simply I had another quest to, like, play a shitload of games with Rage Hero, and I was like, god. I mean, the Goblin Assault is decent, but it's decent. Yeah. I mean, I would argue about this deck being, like, not good or something, but actually, since the since Fireball is 2 mana to play, this became an insane deck. Well, not this deck, but basically Rage became insane, and this deck became more of a average. So yeah, this is like the some sort of an Rage aggro deck that I built in like 2 minutes or so, just for the sake of having the quick and easy Rage deck to win with. I actually should do similar for Order, because if I'll get another quest to play a bunch of games with Order, I will be cringing so much on Angelic Legions, because oh my god, this deck is so annoying to play. Well, I wouldn't say this deck is, you know, bad on its own. This is a fairly decent deck, although not as decent as Goblin Assault now is, and this deck doesn't really work for the quick finishing of quests. While this thing, oh my god, I wouldn't believe that you can finish the quest in 3 turns flat. Wow. Come on. Win 7 games as Rage, 5 minutes and I'm done. Bam. Wonderful. This deck is insane. I mean, I have no idea how the quote-unquote meta aggro Rage goes, but what I have here is a bunch of Lizard Barbarians, Goblin Warriors, Fireballs, Ancestors that actually this is, we can talk about this deck after we are done with the Dark Souls, because this one was more important. So I stopped at the Spoiled Aristocrats combined with Shadowstep Assassins and Silverblade Warriors as the main offense when it's necessary. To some extent, I have the Swiftblade Assassin, but I kind of think I put him more of a yeah, just put whatever to have 60 cards in there fashion. He's not really crucial to this deck. He's like definitely the card to Divine Offer if I need more shrines. I have a Cloning Vat here, which is, to be honest, more or less for fun, and just in case I need to grind even more creatures. So actually I wasn't really expecting that, but it turns out that this deck will be going pretty much mana heavy. I mean, theoretically I could have anticipated it going with 4 power surges. Although, I thought that going with 4 levels, I wouldn't really be going that much mana heavy. Actually, I see a flaw in my playing. Yeah, because I've been mostly playing this deck going to 2/2. I mean, wait. I can do this. It will be DDCC. So 2 Dominion levels and 2 Corruption levels. Yeah, but actually it turns out I don't really have anything that requires 2 Dominion, so I can easily get rid of this. Try to focus more on going for 3 Corruption, thus making the Consume Spirits more powerful. So there are things that in this deck that are not perfect, and they are simply because I lack the cards. And you know what? Probably if I had more hunts, if I had more Tombs of the Damned, I would probably be getting rid of Cloning Vat and or Swiftblade Assassin, just for the sake of getting more copies of these cards. Yeah, for the late game damage that doesn't necessarily come from Xiara and or Spirits or Enchained Souls, I mean, I took the 2 Zombie Giants and 2 Thunderstorm Titans. Honestly, thinking about it, these are pretty much the creatures that are on par with each other. I mean, you trade 1 speed for 1 health, and this is something. You know what, if I were to ditch Nepharos and end up with no way of reducing my opponent's speed, I would be really hesitant of taking the Zombie Giants, and I think I'd rather favor the Thunderstorm Titans, just for the sake of this 1 additional speed. Keeping Nepharos in game, I can keep the Zombie Giant. Also, I have the Mausoleum of the Damned, so theoretically it can be also used as the way to reduce my opponent's speed. There is the issue with this thing. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. It triggers when you play a level 1 creature. I'm not sure if summoning Enchained Souls counts as playing them, and I'm afraid not. So, yeah, this is also something to consider. I mean, if you could, exchange the Tombs of the Damned, for some other draw engine and probably get rid of the Zombie Giants in favor of Thunderstorm Titans. I definitely didn't mean draw engine. I mean, something that will allow you to spawn infinite amounts of weak creatures. Then getting rid of Mausoleum of the Damned and the Nepharos, in exchange for something like the not Assassin's Guild, but rather the Cathedral of the Night, or, the matter of fact, a couple of those, would be something interesting. I don't really like this overlook of the deck. If anyone finds this more convenient, you can pause now and take a look at the list itself, and I will just go back to the view I prefer. So, yeah, there is a lot of room for improvement. Definitely you could go higher on the skill shrines. I'm going low simply because I don't have them. Yeah, and back to the top, because I have more or less went over the creatures I'm having here, okay? Starting early on with Spelled Aristocrats, Shadow Step Assassins, Moon Priestess, if it happens to go. I mean, I would really like to drop a second one of these, and, you know, maybe even go as far as 3. I'm not sure about 4. Yeah, namely, because there was one thing I omitted, and when I realized this in play, I was so shocked, and my first reaction was like, oh my god, I have to rework the entire deck. But then I realized that actually it is not that bad, because I didn't realize that Xiara, other than having the whenever a non-spirit creature dies, summon an Enchained Soul onto the field, and Enchained Soul creatures you control are no longer slaves, it also has this part of other non-spirit creatures get -1 attack, -1 HP. And I was like, oh snap. Yeah, because then I realized, like, my Tombs of the Damned generates me a horde of literally useless zombies. Yeah, they are useless because they end up being 1/1/1 creature, 1 speed, 1 attack, 1 health. They can do literally nothing. So I was like, oh crap, this is bad. Then, I have the Moon Priestesses. They are only 1 health, so wrecked. Spoiled Aristocrats, wrecked. Shadow Step Assassins, well, basically wrecked because they become 0/1 deadly. Yeah, what am I supposed to do with this? The good thing is the Thunderstorm Titans, they are spirits, so they stay where they are. Silverblade Warriors, I mean, at 1/2 they are... but they can be used for something. And the Mesmerizing Spirits and the Shrieking Banshees remain as they are because they are spirits. So what I did at this point, after I realized that basically it wipes most of my creatures and renders them completely useless, I figured out that maybe I should rebuild this deck to go more into the spirits. So basically what I did, I went for looking for spirits. And oh my god, so many spirits. And honestly, if I figured out that if I really want to... oh, actually, can't attack. Vampiric Ashes +2/-2 until end of turn and can attack this turn. So it turns into 2/3 to speed, but I have to pay to use it. Not that bad. And it's a spirit. And I figured out that actually Academy has a ton of spirits. And combining the power of Xiara with the powers of Academy, that could lead to some really, really nice plays. But after that I realized that actually getting rid of my own creatures with Xiara, it actually grants me even more Enchained Souls. So, you know, the moment that I start playing creatures like the Spoiled Aristocrats, knowing that I won't really use it, because the very second I play it, it dies and is changed into an Enchained Soul on my end, that was brilliant. Also, I had this magnificent game when I was wasting the AI Alexa. I mean, yeah, sometimes AI is so stupid. Yes, as much as I can sit there and say that I love the way AI works in this game, because honestly, this is one of the best AIs I have ever seen. That is, you know, it's an AI that is not outright cheating and yet is capable of playing decent games. Especially like the hard AI. I'm still not sure if the Alayana on extreme difficulty is not cheating, because she might be, I'm not 100% sure of it. Yeah. But basically it's like, for a second I wasn't really sure what was happening. Because I was playing against Alexa and like every 2 turns she was desperately trying to drop these stupid militias. But those militias are 1/1, so they instantly die, and you know, I get free Enchained Souls, and I was like sitting there and I was like, wait, what is happening? I mean, it doesn't say that I get free Enchained Soul at the start of my turn, so why do I keep getting free Enchained Souls? What's going on? And yeah, it basically turned out that stupid Alexa was using her hero ability all over and over again, granting me more cards. So yeah, in the end of the day, I decided that maybe I could stick with that. It's like basically the very game after I decided that maybe I should try and keep the weak creatures for the sake of you know, milling them into Enchained Souls. I freaking had a play where it turned out to be a pure aggro deck. I mean, a flood of 3 spoiled aristocrats, supported with the Moon Priestess and I believe Shadow Step Assassin at some point. I freaking, you know, went with this deck to win a game in like 4 turns or something like this. 4 or 5 turns. The insane damage on spoiled aristocrats. Of course, there is always this problem that, you know, when you're playing a spoiled aristocrat, it is blocked unless you play something else. But I literally did something like I was going second, so I dropped the spoiled aristocrat, Spark of Initiative second, spoiled aristocrat. The next turn, I think I went with something like Moon Priestess, which gave me additional mana to drop 1 more spoiled aristocrat, or something like this. I mean, in no time at all, I had like 3 spoiled aristocrats hitting my opponent every turn. Insane. So this is something that is worth considering in this deck. That, yeah, it actually has some pretty decent early game damage. And aside from that, purpose in Shadow Step Assassins, because they are not only well, they serve 2 purposes. As they are pretty weak, so it's not really something to deal damage to your opponent. I use these for 2 purposes. First of all, is to have more cheap creatures that will unlock the spoiled aristocrats. That's the one reason, although I often seem to unlock the spoiled aristocrats with more spoiled aristocrats. Also works. And also they serve the purpose of the anti-OP creatures. So basically, if my opponent drops powerful creatures that will be problematic to deal with, especially early on if I don't have too many Shrieking Banshees like in my hand. Well, actually, I care about Shrieking Banshees only in my hand. So when I don't have Shrieking Banshees, when I don't have Xiara, okay, and I'm pretty much, you know, without anything interesting to deal with it, Shadow Step Assassins. That's what they are for. Dealing with powerful creatures. Raging Gigantodons, Library Guards, whatever else, you name it. Also, Assassinate, 2 pieces of that. Yeah, simply because I was kinda reaching the cards limit. I wish I could take more. I think I would have taken more if I had more slots open for cards. Might be worth switching this Sweetblade Assassin for more. Might be not. I mean, after all, it's 3 attack ranged creature. So yeah, even if you consider the added cost of paying after every turn you use him, it is a worthwhile card to use it. Yeah, cloning that is really the card that is put in here like just for laughs, I get. Actually, well, I could switch that for Chalice. Yeah. Or I could put Chalice as well. Chalice is OP. Chalice is like the thing it came to my attention when I was actually working on interesting. I actually, you know, this card came to my attention after I was digging into options of changing this deck into more of a spirit focus, so I won't get debuffs on everything the very second I get to the very second I get to play Xiara, because yeah, this is something I want to play and not that I want to skip playing. Level 1 slave, level 1 slave, this is not a slave, this is a level 2, this is not a... You may pay the mana cost of the next slave card in your deck using Inherited Wealth's energy. If you do, put that card onto the field, shuffle your deck. That's a decent card. I mean, I always thought this is kind of useless card, but it's actually pretty decent. Raging Minotaur is too heavy. Level 1 slave. So actually, it turns out that cloning that has a really tiny spectrum of what you can do with it. So I'm at crafting. Yes, I'm at crafting, so I have everything in here. So apparently with cloning VATs you can get either the Tortured Orc 2/3, and as long as it's damaged, Moonsteel Miner, so it's a pay 1 sacrifice to put a Might Emblem, or Enchained Soul, which is, yeah, obviously that's an elf. I mean, because of the fact that there is so many elves in Dominion, Dominion synergizes so well with nature. But that's a topic for a whole different video, I guess. Yeah, I'm just trying to look at the usefulness of cloning that, and apparently it is useless. It's more useless than I anticipated. Although, yeah, keep it in mind that this deck easily gets to 10 mana or so. I mean, I've been frequently getting with this deck to 10 mana or so. This is surprisingly durable early on in the game. Also, yeah, power surges really help to grind to this 10 mana. So, you know, something that can grind your excess mana into more creatures, even though you would be like sacrificing those creatures for the sake of getting Enchained Souls. I mean, this is why I like this deck, because this deck like creates a fairly viable way to win in two different fashions. You can easily go and heal yourself to over 40 health, or you can pretty much equally easily flood the board with what they are called Enchained Souls that will deal enough damage to your opponent that they will die. Yeah, and for prevention of Enchained Souls dying too easily, to prevent you from dying too easily, yeah, there are always things like the Assassinate. There is the Noxious Fumes, which I have a full set of, and this is like the best card ever. Cannot play without it. This is a must-have. A couple of Consumed Spirits, which actually, thinking about it, if I really have, I mean, if I were really going with 3-1 rather than 2-2, I mean the CCCD rather than CCDD, or 3 Corruption, 1 Dominion rather than 2 Dominion and 2 Corruption, I set 3 Corruption to 3 Corruption, 1 Dominion, or 3 Dominion, 1 Corruption. I have no idea. Anyway, yeah, I was falsely going. I thought that I had something that could really benefit from me having two Dominion levels, but it doesn't, so I shouldn't go for 2 Dominion levels, I should go for 3. I should go for 1 Dominion level and 3 Corruption levels, and that makes the Consume Spirit even better of a choice. 3 Mesmerizing Spirits. Why Mesmerizing Spirits? Well, they serve 2 purposes. Again, first of all, they are a fairly cheap card to play more or less early on, to have something to either A, work as a meat shield and block some of the upcoming enemy attacks, or B, deal some damage if the opportunity arises. And if that's not the case, they always provide the thing that my opponent will discard some cards that will affect them. Unluckily for me, the one issue I still have with this deck is, it kind of sucks on draw. I mean, if you get to a point where you have like a ton of, where you have Xiara and a ton of, what they are called, Enchained Souls to sacrifice, it's fairly easy to get Spoils of War and use it to draw 3 cards. But when you're out of cards and you don't have Xiara and a ton of what are they called? What are they called? Enchained Souls. Keep missing that. Then it might be kind of difficult. I've been ending up in the situations where I've been out of cards and not much to do. Yeah, that happens. Also, Shrieking Banshee. This card is way too OP. When Shrieking Banshee enters the field, summon an Enchained Soul onto the field for each creature that died this turn. Yeah, so you sacrifice a dozen of Enchained Souls. You drop the Shrieking Banshee, you get a dozen of Enchained Souls. So you sacrifice another dozen of Enchained Souls. You drop another Shrieking Banshee and you get another dozen of Enchained Souls. Yeah, ridiculous. Power Surge, if you are high on mana crystals already, can provide some additional draw. And honestly, I don't really have any other idea for draws. Any other ideas for draw I was really getting were from trying to build this deck tricolor with what is it called? The not Academy, the Wisdom. And hopefully get some draw from them. Rather than that, yeah, it kinda sucks on draw. I have to admit it, it kinda sucks on draw. But rather than that, I'm more or less satisfied with this deck. It definitely needs some working on. I don't really know how to exactly work it yet. Although I think I will get to it. Anything I haven't mentioned in this deck and the purpose of? Xiara. Two copies just to get slightly better odds to get her. 4 Shrieking Banshees because they are like the core of this deck alongside with Xiara. Yeah, they are to create the insane amounts of Enchained Souls and Hunt. If I could get a second Hunt, that would be nice because, more of the Enchained Souls. Although honestly, I haven't seen Hunt used at all. I don't think I have ever drawn a Hunt with when I was playing with this deck. Well, that's what happens if you have only one copy of a card. That's why I think I'd like more than one copy of the card. Yeah, but I've been drawing Tombs of the Damned, I've been drawing Moon Priestesses, I've been drawing Cloning Vats. I don't remember using Swiftblade Assassins. Might have been I've been drawing them, but I've been Divine Offering them. I've been definitely using Haunted Cemetery. I might have never drawn a Mausoleum of the Damned as well in this deck. I mean, when I was playing with this deck. Yeah, but as I said, Mausoleum of the Damned is not like the... My god. Not the core card. 1-3. It's 3-3. A little bit more expensive, I guess. Oh well. That's what it is. I kind of feel like I would love to play with more artifacts than that. I mean, I don't want to depend too heavily on artifacts because, surprisingly, there is quite a decent amount of anti-artifact cards in the in Spellweaver in general. Like, the most insane when it comes to destroying artifacts is Rage. So wait, creatures. So basically, none of these destroys artifacts. These can destroy an artifact. These can destroy an artifact. These can destroy an artifact, and these destroy a creature or artifact with mana cost 2 or less. So yeah, from creatures, there are solid 4 creatures that destroy artifacts. 4 creatures that destroy artifacts. Then we have discards an artifact or a spell card. Actually, do they discard or destroy? No, they destroy. So they destroy. So even if we're not counting discard, so that's already 4. This is 5, 6, 7, 8 cards to destroy artifacts. I don't remember if there were any artifacts that destroy other artifacts. I will just assume no. Yeah, but still, there is like a solid 6 cards to destroy artifacts. 6 or more. There was 4 on creatures, right? Yeah, 4 on creatures. And 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, at least a total of 8 cards to destroy artifacts. There are cards that allow you to discard artifacts. So this is like the still somewhat of a help. A little bit less than outright destroying them. Yeah, I'm just making sure that there is no artifacts that destroy artifacts. It's like I'm not even reading those. I'm trying to look at those and try to figure out if any one of those work like this, but I don't see it really. So yeah, not really happening. Yeah, but still, artifacts are pretty vulnerable, and the benefits they provide are arguable at best. I will drop the Chalice, just for the sake of doing that. I was really thinking about Thessian Mercenaries, and Thessian Mercenaries would be great. Yeah, in the way they were pre-nerfs. I mean, nerfs. I don't really remember what Thessian Mercenaries were before. They were like something of 2 mana, 1 level, or something. They were definitely 1 level. Although, actually... Crap. Huh, that's actually interesting. Something that would work, I guess. Interesting AF. Yeah, I'm looking at how much options to sacrifice are there. At least possible for this deck. And actually, yeah, it turns out Infernal Tribute is sacrifice. So... Well, from these cards, this is like the only one that's benefiting from being sacrificed. But if you would use Infernal Tribute on your opponent who's having Fessian Mercenaries, they can get rid of them and get cards instead. So yeah, they are, just as their description says, expandable soldiers. And with 2/2 and 2 speed, they are pretty much a decent creature. Decent creature I'm really considering. I mean, I would be considering them more if they would have more viable way of being sacrificed for the sake of getting... oh, no. Crap. Yeah, more viable ways of sacrificing them to turn them into additional draw engines, because this is like the only thing this deck kinda lacks. It is somewhat present in the form of power surges and spoils of war, but yeah, they are draw engines that are really contextual. If there are certain criteria met, you can use them to draw more cards, but unless those criteria are met, they are useless. I mean, Power Surge is not useless. Power Surge is grinding your mana crystals like crazy. Spoils of War, yeah, if you cannot get rid of 3 creatures in one turn, you can... It would be helpful if it was instant. Really. Yeah, so you could use it after your opponent's attack phase. And, you know, when your opponent attacks and happens, you can always use this. Damn. Oh, come on, Spellweaver, give me the window to list the cards that I want to see changed. Oh, well, I'd wish for that window again. Because there is... Yeah, it's like, ever since I've closed this window, I'm seeing so many cards that I would like to see, you know, small tweaks to them. This is something that, you know, is not a huge deal, but it would create a you know, enormous difference. I'm kind of trying to tech this deck right now. I'm looking at it and trying to kind of think what else I could change and in what way. Yeah, but I have basically discarded most of the corruption creatures for the sake of going with this. Yeah, but anyway, I think I kind of mentioned everything that there was to mention about this deck. On the other hand, yeah, we have this Zash I did there. As I said, this is deck I literally put up in a minute or so. I basically went to create the deck. I knew what I was going for. I was going for Rage and go as much attack as possible. So that's basically what I did. I was taking, you know, starting from the cheapest cards, I was just, you know, taking 4 of everything that is cheap and can quickly and powerfully attack, like for nearly free. If I'd go to new deck, yeah, so dealing with shrines was a kind of a problem, but let's say I actually have this figured out. I mean, this is wonderful. I mean, I have no idea why it actually decides on such an amount. So you can control. Is it saying anywhere over here? Yeah, hold control to drag multiple cards. There it says. So I have no idea. I mean, for every other card, it will take 4 or as much as you have when you control click. But for shrines, it takes 12. I mean, why? Why 12? This is like, doesn't make sense to me. So I capped it at 18 shrines, because why not? And bam, how quickly I can make this deck. Something like this. I definitely need 4 of those. I would like more of those, but I have only a couple. I'll take these because they are awesome. They are awesome. They are awesome. I think I'll take a couple of those. I have no idea how many Gigantodons I took. A couple of these. I'll take a couple of these because they are swift. Basically everything around here is already too expensive, and I don't want it because it's too expensive. I'm at 54 cards. Have I taken the Massive Assaults? Yes, I have. Fireball, Swords of Fire, Massive Assault. I'm still missing something. Oh yeah, I know what I'm missing. Where is it? Here, Boiling Blood. 2, no more. I'm still 4 cards behind. What else? What else? Wall of Flames, Torture Dork, no, no. Goblin Firecracker, no. Fireworker. Huh. Honestly, I'm 4 cards short and I don't really know what to do with this. Oh really, I don't. Something's wrong. Unless I have taken 4 Gigantodons and 4 Ancestors Guides. Let's see. 4 Gigantodons. So that's the first difference. And what's the second difference? Only 2 Ancestors Guide. I mean, 18 shrines, 12 spells. Oh, I have only 10 spells here. Oh, so I have taken 4 Boiling Bloods. That's the difference. Delete. So basically, that's how long it took to take this deck, to build this deck. It works. I mean, I'm not going with it on like ranked insane games. If I would, then probably it would be you know, lacking a little bit here and there. I believe it definitely could be improved, but it's decent. I mean, honestly, let's go over it. Damage to hero, wreck creatures, damage to hero if wrecked creatures, swift, flooding, target emblems. So this is the best card ever. I mean, first of all, it's a great way to get rid of your opponent's shit. Huh. Yeah. I mean, there is one thing that is bad with this guy, which I had to learn the hard way. Although I guess this makes sense, because if it wasn't working like this, it will be slightly overpowered. So basically, target emblems do not stack. I mean, if you have something with 2 target emblems, it will deal only 1 damage, not 1 per target emblem. Yeah, Hunting Gigantodons, yeah, they are just insane damage, and if I'll get to playing long enough to be able to drop them. Boiling Blood, yeah, grind even more damage to quickly wreck your opponent. Disciple of Zash, this is in conjunction with the Flame Rune Warrior, and to some extent, you know, with Word of Fire and Firebolts. These 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually the Fire God Temples. So what is it? 1, 2, 3, 5 cards. These 5 cards are mostly, well, yeah, I would say purely, but not this guy. So they are mostly just for the sake of getting rid of my opponent's creatures. That would slow down the assault. Then Massive Assault is, again, just to speed up the assault. As you can see, I'm going really, really low on levels with this deck. And that's it. I mean, if I don't end up drawing... if I don't end up drawing Massive Assaults, Disciples of Zash, and maybe Goblin Looters, I'm doing nothing about rage levels, staying at 1, those go for 1 mana gain skill, those go for 1 mana 1 card, unless I explicitly end with hand full of 2 level shit and I don't have anything else to do. Yeah, I know, I'm just pushing it longer because we don't really have time to play anything anymore today. And yeah, I took too long to talk about Dark Souls, which has a room for improvement. Definitely, Ravenir, I saw the deck. I saw the deck you posted in the comments. I like this deck, except this is like totally not what I was going with my Enchained Souls. So I definitely wasn't going what you did. Yeah, and if you don't know about the Ravi's deck that I'm talking about, go to the previous video. It's in the it's listed in the comments. So yeah, the problem with that deck was that deck was going purely for health win. So something like the Pegasus Regiment. Oh, it's bloody brilliant. Yeah, you drop the Pegasus Regiment, you get like 6 or 7, I don't remember, was the maximum amount of... I don't think I have any decks with Pegasus Regiment. But you get this horde of Pegasi, they are instantly wrecked by Xiara because they are 1-1, so Xiara instantly reduces them to 0-0, kills them, spawns Enchained Souls in their place, then you sacrifice all the Enchained Souls, so you get a lot of health, you drop Shrieking Banshee, you get like twice as many Enchained Souls, you sacrifice all of those. Insane. So yeah, basically this deck aims to heal. I, with the Enchained Souls deck, never meant to go for healing. Pegasus Regiment. Pay up to 6, so you can get 6 Pegasi. I mean, it's not like I never went for healing. I went with this, keeping that healing is an option, but not thinking about healing being the main thing to do, okay? Healing is something that might happen accidentally. Actually, with Chalice, this became like a insane heal deck. Because, you know, yeah, dump a 12 of, dump 12 of the Enchained Souls into health, summon Shrieking Banshee, you got another 12 Enchained Souls to sacrifice for 1 health each. So you get 24 solid health for free, 24 creature dice, so Chalice gets 24 energy, you pay 2, you remove all the energy, you gain 24 health, and you basically healed for 48, right? Yeah, 24 twice. So you heal for 48, and you... Yeah, you could have been basically on -8 health and you would still win. Yeah, of course you would lose for being at negative health. There is also one more deck I have kind of started to build. Finished, the matter of fact. Although I am not satisfied with this deck, and I haven't really played with this yet, so I don't really know where it is going. But I guess if we still have some time, I might pop a few words about this deck. I might actually say that I'm open to any additional suggestions on what to do with this deck, if anyone has any idea. But basically what this deck is, as the name suggests, artifacts. Yes, I am going with artifacts here. And the plan is to basically reuse the renovation facility to grind the Steel Sentinels of Sentience. Yep, because or Dwarven Mortars. Where are we here? Yeah, so as you can see, I have like gone with 4 drones, for the sake of having drones for the renovation facility. Although, yeah, it has 2 of the drones on its own. So first of all, yeah, I would have taken more renovation facilities. I'm simply out of cards. If I could, I would be definitely going for more renovation facilities. So sacrifice a drone, transform an artifact creature you control into one that costs 1 level more or one that requires 1 more level. So this is why I'm also going heavy on artifact creatures here, starting with golems, militant automatons, airship explorers, and that's all. Yeah, but with that in mind, I have also the 3 copies of Foundry Engineers. Why only 3? Well, yeah, because I'm not sure if I have only 3 available, or whether I just... No, I have only 3 available. Well, I mean, they get 1/3 energy at the start of every turn, so I guess that is something. Yeah, important cards with this. Of course, Foundry Engineers to get more artifact creatures. I mean, all in all, it's better to start off by upgrading a golem, sacrificing the drone to upgrade a golem, rather than sacrifice a drone to upgrade a drone. See, it's like I will be skipping one part there. I have the Constructionist here, so he's mostly to get the renovation facilities in play. If I will be having trouble finding it, because with 1 card it might be difficult. I don't think I have any other pure artifacts. Nope. So I guess if I had 4 renovation facilities, I could get rid of these guys, or at least some of these guys. Yeah. Crazed Apothecary, so he is a little bit of this, like, you know, filler that I did not really have anything better to put in there, so I put him. I will be getting a lot of artifacts, or actually artifact creatures, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that it doesn't matter for this guy, so he will be getting stronger. Force Wielders. They are extremely important for having a bunch of Foundry Engineers. These 2 combined together with the power of Astral Dive and Thomic Laboratory. Yeah, they are like the key to grind a huge army of golems. Aside from that, I have 1 sleep. That is just in case to potentially slow my opponent if necessary. Also, yeah, it could be like, with a little bit of luck, infinitely replenished with the, whatever it is called, with the energy boosting cards. 3 lightning elementals, so they are for a little bit of quick attack and also slowing my opponent with shocks. Really important thing. Flash freeze, so this is to get rid of nastier opponent creatures. Jane Battlemaster. Again, he's a filler, although he's a kind of a useful filler. I mean, he's 2/2, but he deals double damage and receives half the damage. So, yeah. He is mainly for the sake of the damage is rounded down. So he is mainly, again, for some creature combat protection. Militant Automaton, kind of, you know, the reason to go with... if I can get those, and I can... you know, outright upgrade those without, you know, going through all these stages of upgrading. Also, Airship Explorers, to some extent, the same as with Militant Automaton, so I can get 1 step closer to upgrading into Steel Sentience. Gin of Wishes, yeah. Somewhat of a draw engine combined with the creature combat. I took him for 2 reasons. Well, I am going for 3 levels anyway, because for the Darius' ability and the Dust Titans, that are like the late game powerhouse if I cannot get to the steel guys. It would be nice to grab some sentient steel sentience raw, but I have none. If I had some, I guess I would be putting them. Yeah, but that is like this little sort of a deck I was thinking about. The steel sentience, they do drones, don't they? At the start of your turn, summon drone onto the field and sacrifice the drone, put a might emblem and an artifact creature you control. So with these guys, yeah, it would be great to grind as many of those as possible. Yeah, via the means of Foundry? What is it called? No, Renovation Facility. So yeah, Renovation Facility. Through the means of renovation facilities, then it will be like flooding the... you can have multiple renovation facilities. It's nice. Flooding with the drones that you will be converting into a flood of either A, sentient steels to flood even more drones, or into might emblems to get insane damage. I mean, I think this deck really has a potential, but I don't have the cards that are needed to build it properly, so kinda sucks. It's another draw engine. Another nice draw engine. I think I would be putting some of those if I had them. Yeah, but basically that's what I have for that thing. Marketplace. Oh. So probably the Crystal Fiesta didn't start. Yeah, but yeah, if you have any idea what else could I potentially do with this deck, then yeah. This deck is a fun idea that needs a lot of working on and needs a lot of cards that I don't have, but will definitely be fun. Too bad we didn't get time to play with the Dark Souls. With a little bit of luck, I will definitely be playing more with Dark Souls in the, upcoming week. Yeah, if I don't deem this deck completely useless by the time I will be recording the next video, I will probably try to squeeze Dark Souls play into the video, because that would be nice. I definitely took way too long to talk about this deck to be able to play with this today. Yeah, because this one is a mostly long play deck, unless I'll get like a flood of spoiled aristocrats in the first couple of turns and then direct my opponent with pure aggro strategy. That's also a case. Anyway, that will be it for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, share, and yeah, that will be it for today. I think I'm repeating myself. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Take care.